Good day, grade 11 students. This is again Sir RJ Olarve and welcome back to the video tutorial for our subject this second semester. So we're just going to continue our discussion regarding matter and its property. And we are done with the first parts, the part 1 and the part 2 of our video tutorial. And now you are here listening and watching this video tutorial, and actually this is the last part of the video tutorial for module number 1. And this is all about the properties of matter. So what are the different properties of matter? So before we answer that question, let us have first the different lesson objectives. So first, in this lesson, you are expected to know the different properties of matter. Second is to cite examples of each properties of matter. And lastly is to familiarize yourself with the difference of each properties. And moving forward with our discussion proper, let us have the properties of matter. So the properties of matter is generally divided into two properties. And what are these? So first we have the physical properties, and second is the chemical properties. And each properties is actually different from one another, and the physical properties are actually divided into two more type of properties, and we're going to discover and analyze those properties later on. But now let's first discuss what is physical properties all about. So physical properties are properties of matter that can be observed without changing the composition of a specific substance, and these are properties that can be observed by the senses and can be measured. And also, these physical properties can be extrinsic or intrinsic physical properties. So take note, meron pang dalawa under the physical properties, at yun nga yung extrinsic and intrinsic physical properties. And now, let's have the first type of the physical properties, which is all about the extrinsic properties or extrinsic physical properties of matter. So extrinsic properties is also called as the extensive property. So from the word external properties of matter. So it is also known to be dependent on the amount of matter or substance that is present on a specific material or substance itself. And take note that the moment na change natin yung amount ng matter na present doon sa specific na substance, mababago din yung extrinsic property niya. Halimbawa nitong mga to is the mass, okay, the length, the size, and the volume of a specific substance is highly dependent on the amount of matter that is present on a specific substance. So that is the extrinsic properties of matter. And now let's proceed with the second type, which is the intrinsic properties of matter, or the intrinsic physical properties of matter, which is also termed as the intensive properties. So from the word inside properties, ito ng matter, alright? And this will be the same regardless of the amount of matter. And with that, so it is not dependent on the amount of matter. Unlike doon sa extensive property na siya ay dependent doon sa amount of matter, this time, this intrinsic or intensive property is not dependent on the amount of matter. Whether madami or kakaunti lang yung amount of matter na present, still, the same pa rin yung intrinsic property ng isang matter na yon. Okay, and now let's have the examples of the intrinsic properties of matter, which are the following. So first is the density, which pertains to how compacted molecules are. Next is the color, okay, the physical color of that specific matter. Third is the physical state, the solid, the liquid, and the gas state. Fourth is the melting point. Fifth is the boiling point. Sixth is the conductivity, or the ability of that matter to be a good conductor of heat and electricity. Next is volatility, or the fluidity of that specific matter. And lastly is the solubility, whether it is a soluble or insoluble sa mga solvent. And that is the intrinsic properties of matter. And now let's have the second type of the properties of matter, which is the chemical properties. Okay, unlike sa physical properties, that is we can use our senses in order for us to identify some of the physical properties, but this time in the chemical properties, these are the characteristics of matter that can be observed with an accompanying change in the chemical composition of a specific substance. And it is also described as how a substance reacts with another substance, which is called the chemical reactivity. So this time, so meron na tayong other factor to be considered in order for us to identify the chemical property of a specific matter. And take note of the following examples. So examples of the chemical properties are the following. So we have flammability, ability of that matter to start a flame or a fire. Okay, the combustibility, we have the toxicity, reactivity, corrosion or to be corroded. So ito ay yung nangangalawang, no? And the ability to decay or yung nabubulakan na. So take note of the different examples of the chemical properties na itong mga to is actually examples. Ibig sabihin, kailangan ng another factor para malaman natin yung chemical property ng specific na matter. So that's all about the chemical properties of matter. And this time, so as a recap, so we have the two properties of matter, which are the physical properties and the chemical properties. But take note that under the physical properties, there are also two more properties, which are the intrinsic and the extrinsic physical properties of matter. And if there are concepts that are unclear to you, so don't hesitate to contact me at any of this contact information that you can see on your screen. And as a reminder, once again, from 1 Corinthians 10 verse 31, so when you eat or drink or do anything else, always do it to honor God. God bless grade 11 students.